KONA, Monarch of Monster Isle. Number 2. This is coming from It's Alive Comics, and let's go ahead and take a look at this. I mean, it's really funny that we're looking at this right now because I actually just got done reading a vintage Spider-Man comic. I think it was Amazing Spider-Man number 107. The first time around, not the renumbering. Anyways, in this vintage Spider-Man, Spider-Man actually ends up going to the Savage Land with J. Jonah Jameson, and they meet Kazar and all these characters that were really popular back in the 1960s. And so seeing KONA immediately reminded me of that, and this cover really got my blood pumping because I'm like, okay, this looks like it might be interesting. I don't think the artwork that you're going to get in the actual book is going to be as good. It says here, Sam Glanzman is best known for his USS Stevens and haunted tank stories for DC, but for me, Sam's KONA, Monarch of Monster Isle, is absolutely mind-altering. It's like reading a vintage pulp magazine soaked in LSD. Featuring dismembered mutant animals, at least 100 deaths per issue, KONA definitely stands out among the wider world of comics as a whole. If you don't know KONA, now is the time to learn. I don't know KONA, so I'm learning. KONA is a caveman who helps the family of Dr. Henry Dodd after they crash on KONA's lost dinosaur-populated Pacific Island. Not limited to garden-variety prehistoric creatures, Sam created a fever dream of surreal, horrific monstrosities. The whole thing heaves and pulsates like the ink itself has come down with a strange and maddening fever. As Sam is such a fine craftsman, this is telling me a lot about other people's opinions. What is your story about? This is what I want to know. I mean, look at this cover. I want to support you just because of this cover. But what is your book about? Welcome to the campaign to publish KONA number 2, issue 2 of the weirdest, wildest comic ever published. KONA, Monarch of Monster Isle, tells the story of a strange hero known only as KONA, saving the lives of Dr. Henry Dodd, his daughter Mary, and grandchildren Mason and Lily. After this, the group crashes their army surplus blimp on a prehistoric Pacific island that KONA calls home. Befriending them, KONA becomes their protector, saving them from giant animals, monsters, and much more. Originally published in 1962, this series has never been collected or reprinted until now. This issue features a variant cover by comic book masters Tom Yates and Stephen R. Bissett. This issue also has a pinup by Thomas Yates and Al Williamson. And don't forget that each issue contains an essay about KONA and Sam Glanzman by Stephen R. Bissett. Alright, so that's what this is. This is a classic comic book that has been collected and is now being retold. And I gotta say, I really do like this Bart Sears cover. This actually looks really good. So, I mean, oh, look at this. This is an example of the restoration. This is what it did look like. This is what it looks like now. So, yeah. I gotta admit, it does look pretty cool. So, if you're interested in an old-fashioned pulp magazine-style comic book that harkens back to that 1960s era when Stan Lee and Steve Ditko were pioneering new comic books for the industry, this definitely would be something worth looking at. It's only got 9 days left as of the date of my recording. Hopefully this is only the first of their 2 30-day spanses. So definitely check out KONA, Monarch of Monster Isle, because this actually does look like a really fun comic, and who knows, it might prompt a revival, and that would be kind of cool.